Greetings, Earthlings.
Warning, the following program contains strong black first opinion about mature and strong subject matter that affects Black America and the diaspora as a whole. Listen at your own risk, you sissy.
Grand Rising All. You are listening to the one and only Be One or None. Good morning from Africatown, Los Angeles.
Grand Rising, everyone. We have a part of the nation in the house. We got Kathy B. And,
Hey.
and we have Mind Games Uncut. You got to go check out both of their channels, Mind Games.
Peace, peace, peace.
So we're just going to jump right into it. We're not going to be here long. Okay. So, we've already been saying how we believe the police be involved. This is our opinion. This is my opinion that a lot of these drive-bys and all this shootings that done happened with people unaliving in black neighborhoods, they can never find it. Or we think it's like undercover police. We've always said that during the so-called protest, the peaceful protest that we have, somehow there's always somebody vandalizing stuff, and we say that we believe it's the police or paid people or undercover people, etc. And we always say how all these people cosplay to help us, like the Democrat Party. I'm not going to say the Republican Party, because the Republican Party never promised black people anything. The Republican Party don't depend on black votes to win. The Democratic Party does. And we always say how all this mess seemed like we can never get past racism. Nobody ever puts the KKK at the top of the terrorist list, etc. Well, lo and behold, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is located in Alabama, that is supposed to be fighting racism, has been caught red-handed giving millions to the KKK, the Imperial Wizard, and 8 other hate groups. Did y'all know that?
Isn't that something?
Nope. I mean, I heard about it, but yeah.
I'm gonna play this audio because I couldn't. I'm gonna play this audio. Let's see if you can hear it. Law Center was paying the leaders of KKK and other groups to continue their operations. Is that? I'm not alleging it. The grand jury returned an indictment that says that Southern Poverty Law Center is raising money, asking folks to give them money to dismantle racism. And over a very long period of time, they were using some of the money they raised from donors to pay to, they called them field, basically to informants. The Department of Justice has announced a grand jury indictment of the Southern Poverty Law Center on charges. I was pretty shocked about it. And to be quite frank, given the players involved, I thought this seems like a politically motivated prosecution. However, as you read the details, this does seem real. And as with any case, innocent until proven guilty. But what's being claimed here would indeed be a crime. So let me get to the details on what allegedly happened. So apparently, according to acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who hasn't been confirmed for the role, who also, by the way, secured a minimum security facility for notorious groomer and rapist Ghislaine Maxwell, now says that the Southern Poverty Law Center paid informants to monitor racist organizations. Okay, paying informants isn't necessarily illegal, right? But there's more to it than that, allegedly. So a grand jury in Alabama, where SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, is based, handed down this indictment. So it's not like, oh, Todd Blanche unilaterally decided, I'm gonna prosecute these guys. There's no grand jury involved. There is a grand jury involved, and there has to be probable cause in order to pursue this case. So the SPLC faces 11 counts, including wire fraud, bank fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Only the organization itself has been charged. No specific individuals have been named in this case. However, that could change as this investigation continues. Now, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche detailed the indictment during a press conference today. So let's take a look at what he had to say.
The SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
That is a very heavy and serious charge. It is.
So they were paying groups to harass, to produce more racial hatred. So just imagine if these people would really do investigations, how far the rabbit hole would go. Are y'all familiar with all this that's been going on? This was headlines for last week. Yet it's not headlines because it involves them. And then you would, if you see the people on the board of SPLA, you would see black faces, immigrant faces. It was more black faces than white faces that was doing this. Do y'all know that?
I seen that. And they said the Jews the one control put the whole thing together. So they work just like the NAACP, they work for the Jews. So it been going on for a long time. So I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. And they say the Jews, but they say the SPLA itself, because you know George Soros was donating $100 million. Do you know the SPLA? I'm gonna pull it up. They raised almost $1 billion, and they've been using this money to basically give them to basically spew more racial hate to keep jobs. I'm gonna play this. Listen to
a
this.
Marxist group. It's like BLM,
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
But BLM wasn't spewing hate. They were just spending the money. Listen to this.
SPLC. So Cash Patel and Todd Blanche dropped this, right? And SPLC, you know, maybe at the beginning their reasoning was noble and they've raised God knows how much money. We saw reports of who's giving them money. George Clooney gave him money. Tim Cook gave him $1 million. I think Chase gave him money. Soros was speculated to have given him money. And then you see the 2019 Charity Watch. It's a leftist organization, gave SPLC an F. Current Affairs gave SPLC an outright fraud that uses fear to cause leftists to write checks. Liberal death penalty abolitionist Stephen Bright, I think is his name, refused to take an award from SPLC. Said the SPLC has been run by a con man and a fraud. And then former SPLC employees in 2019 told the New Yorker that we were part of the con and we knew it. Like they knew they were doing this. What do you know about it, and why is this such a big deal of what happened?
Well, when I first saw the push notification that the SPLC was being indicted on felonies, multiple felonies,
Yes.
my first thought was, oh, come on, we have nothing better to do. And then I clicked on it and I read the article and I said, oh, shit, these are real crimes, the kind of crimes where they're documentary. You either did it or you didn't do it. And if they've got documentary evidence that they did it, this could be the end of the SPLC.
Literally.
I think it could be.
Well, so I'm watching the opposition to see what their argument is. You know, the current president reacted. I don't know if you saw this clip or not. He said, yeah, you know what? You know how they're spinning it? Here's what they're saying. They're saying this is so unfair because this was our way of paying informants to learn more about the organization.
I knew they were going to say
yeah, that's what they're saying.
Like journalists who buy one share of stock so that they can go to the stock holders meeting and, you know.
They're spinning it in a way to say, shame on them to do this. These are people that are doing great work. That was the guy who responded, claiming that's what they're doing in the past. So what do you think about that?
I think that is weak because what they're being accused of doing is giving money to the Ku Klux Klan, giving money to Nazi groups, you know, laundering money. There are very clear laws, very specific laws about money laundering. You know, you can't do it. You can't do it. And so why launder it in the first place? Again, what the Justice Department is accusing them of doing is documented. And so they're going to have their day in court just like everybody else. And they can make that argument, certainly.
You see what I mean? It's documented. They're using the groups. Everybody preys on black people. They prey on our hurt. They prey on our dismay. They prey on our oppression. And the white people continue to make money. This group that was supposed to be for us, they use it as in they're going to give money to informants so they can infiltrate the KKK, infiltrate the Proud Boys, infiltrate the Nazi groups. That was the guise. But the truth is that they were paying themselves and laundering money through these through the SPLA, and God knows if the ACLU is probably doing it, then that's probably how Black Lives Matter got money. That's allegedly. But basically, these white terrorist groups have been laundering money under the guise of of groups that are supposed to be helping fight white supremacy. Isn't that a doozy? You use the same groups that's coming after you to launder money through that organization.
It's
To
called
launder.
politics. Called politics. And then, like I said, it actually, I hate to say it, it was a hell of it was a really what can I say? The plan was, it was diabolical, but it was kind of slick because they know that black people were never gonna find out unless the feds would have investigated it. So they've been doing it for a long time. Now now they've been exposed, and guaranteed. And the sad part about all this, black people, especially black liberals, still gonna rock with those groups because we so locked into the tradition and being loyal to a party. We'll still forgive them. I'll let my plane.
Well, the thing is that they can't be loyal to them when they're all going to getting ready to go to court. And I mean, they're going to be loyal to groups. But what it is that this shows how black groups need to make sure that we have our own black organizations. And this is why when they say that we're delineating ourselves, when we're separating ourselves, because some of those people on the panel look like black immigrants. Just like in the Black Caucus is not ran by foundational black Americans, black American Indians, Solon. None of these organizations have original black Americans in there. And this is the whole point, because nobody is really our demise, our oppression, our history is a joke to these people because their ancestors did not go through it. And this is why we need the faces of black Americans, original black Americans, aboriginal Americans, the black Indians, FBA, whatever we want to name ourselves, the blood of the foundation of America, the black blood of the foundation of America. We need to be faces of this organization, because of organizations that are supposed to help us, because we see from the Democrats to the Black Caucus, now the SPLC, I was saying SPLA, SPLC, and Black Lives Matter. None of these organizations, none of these politicians are really out helping us, because as long as they keep us as the designated underclass, as Claude Anderson says, then everybody can eat off of us, and they never want us to rise above. This is why it's always a problem with reparations. This is why it's a problem with us getting our own hair stores, our own gas stations. This is why it's always a problem with us coming up, and the only thing they feed us is guns and drugs in our community, and a bunch of nonsense, little clothes, long weave hair, makeup, twerking, and obnoxious music is the only thing that they give us to play with, while they destroy our future and our kids' future. We
I can
need
pick it.
people who are us to represent us. Go ahead.
But it's funny you were talking about this now, because I did a pop up podcast this morning about 8 o'clock. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I was about 40 minutes. I was talking about it. Black Wall Street closing down here in Stonecrest, Georgia, and I was talking about the next step for FBA. So I hear what you're saying, and I'm just kind of piggyback what I said. For me, just analyzing FBA now for the last couple of years, and this where we at now, it's cool. But even you talking about black organizations, these black people don't care. Like black Americans really don't. They're not. can I say?
I'm not going to know. What I said is that these black organizations are not ran by us for
I
real.
know. I'm
We
saying like, why
cannot
we
say
not
that.
having a?
We
Yeah,
we giving up hope. I'm gonna let you. Our people are giving up hope because our people are not being helped. You cannot expect of people who have been broken mentally to function like people who have had everything handed to them. And the problem is that the people who look like us are running organizations and they are doing stuff, and the people who need the help that look like us are never getting it. So we are sinking more and more to the bottom of the barrel. But go ahead.
yeah. I just think Black Americans don't have the. I don't think they have the mindset they had a long time ago. Like Dr. Clark Anderson been preaching this over 60 some years. And if you think about it, since he been out from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, Black people been listening, but they're not listening because you would have think somebody would have grasped onto the whole powernomics philosophy and really pushed it. That's what I'm saying. We just as a Black Americans, the 40 million Black Americans, you think we would be more on code, but we're not. Like I said in my podcast this morning, the only thing FBA really did right was they kept Kamala Harris from getting in the office. That's some power they did. They actually really was the one nobody want to talk about, but they the one that kind of sway Black people away from voting for her, so they kind of hold their vote. That's power. Lineage is cool, but you got to get them. You got to get into the political arena to really get reparations or anything, even getting bills passed to get contracts and stuff, so we get loans and stuff, so we can control the organization. So, yeah, they did that part right. I think they didn't go back to the table and hit the reset button because it's too much. Like I said, it's too much other bashing thing going on. Me and Pablo talked about this. It's like, come on, y'all. Like, okay, that's cool. We delineate now. Let's go to the next step. We got to think big. Like I say, even with Black Wall Street, the lady said it had 15,000 people the first week. Then it dwindled down to 10 to 2 people in the place. You're never gonna move like that. And then I'm gonna be honest with you, some of the stores in there, it wasn't all Black Americans, but
Thank
some
you.
of them
That's what
was
I was going to
immigrants.
say.
But the thing is, why Black people don't want to? They're not keeping Black Americans and not opening up businesses. And it's just I don't know if no, I don't
Yes,
think
but
we.
that's what I'm saying. I digress.
Mm,
I disagree with you wholeheartedly of everything you're saying, because the point is that these groups are using money to keep us down. I am a Black American. I consider myself a original Black Indian. I consider myself FBA. I work. I try to get business loans. I don't get it. But these other people who look like me and represent me that are not American get it. Who really opened up the mall up there? And when we go, the problem is that when I went to Black Wall Street Mall, and I was gonna agree exactly what you're saying, it was not majority of Black Americans. Once we came there, and I came there and I seen it was mostly Africans, Indian looking, everybody that looks Black, but that wasn't the people who live in my neighborhood. So that money is not going back to our neighborhoods. The problem is that just like the SPLA, they're funding these groups to harass us. Most of the original Black Americans, the FBAs, they are in prisons. They are being used. You can go on Facebook. A lot of Black people are not talking ignorant. A lot of Black people, yes, they're arguing and stuff because they're trying to delineate. We saying we delineating, but we are trying to delineate because we're separating ourselves from the garbage that has been piled on top of us. There a lot of these crimes that have been committed, we have been narrowing it down. They have been immigrants. And I'm not saying that our Black people, our young Black people, ain't unaliving each other, but that's because our young Black people, their parents and the people have been poisoned. Their dads have been put in prison. So in order to get somewhere, we need mental health facilities in our communities. We can't expect, if you prey on the people and you biting off of me, if my body represents FBA and you done bit my legs and you done bit my arms and stuff, and then you tell me to get up and run, I'm only going to bleed all over the place and I'm going to be lagging behind, while the person who look like me, who has not been getting bitten off of but who has been handed out, takes all their people and moving forward, they're going to look like, okay, Black people are prospering, and this person that's just down on their luck, bleeding all over the place, doesn't want anything done. My thing is, just like you said, in that Black Wall Street Mall, that money wasn't given to the original Black Americans, FBA. It was given to immigrants. Just like now, Essence Festival has been crapped out because the person who bought Essence Festival, who bought Essence Magazine and Jet Magazine that we don't see no more, we just talked about that, was a Nigerian. And his plan is to take all this money and send it back to Nigeria. He bought Madam C.J. Walker's house, told everybody that, no, before we know he was African, told everybody that he was going to be bringing black women in to do this, do that, and blah 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 and blah blah this, and he lied. He ain't bring nobody in. The problem is that the people who are on top of the FBA are keeping them down. And yes, I do admit, like I said, our people are messed up, but I cannot expect a person who is messed up without any help or without any healing to be the person I expect them to be without giving them some help. Where is the mental health facilities? Who is out here talking to our youth to say, you not to talk to say you could be all you be, but who is out here telling them, come on, let's go to a mental health facility. Come on, let's get therapy. Come on, let's do this. We yell at each other, but the most of the time, all these nonprofits do is either having them cleaning up the street that don't belong to them, and none of them are being taught in school. We're not going to the schools telling them, you look, you can open up a business. This is another way to get money, etc., etc. We cannot blame ourselves when ourselves are not getting the help. That's all I'm saying. What do you say?
But I agree with you on that, as far as getting the help and stuff. Like I said, I think we just need to have better businesses. Like stuff that gonna be actually. I heard a lot of people in the comments was saying these Black Americans saying like, yeah, we don't have a sister. She broke it down. I played the audio from a sister who broke it down. She was like, she's from Georgia too. She was like, black businesses don't shea butters and oils and stuff. A couple of restaurants that's cool, but we need dentistries and we need, like I said, mental health institutions in these businesses and stuff like something that we use on a daily basis. I think them days of oils and incense and all that, that's dead. That's why I think why a lot of black people don't really support those type of businesses. And they said a lot of them went online. That's another thing too. A lot of black businesses going online. So with technology, you really don't have to have a mom and pop stores anymore, really. So yeah, we just need to revamp and just hit the reset button and change up some things. And I think for the FBA, they just need to get I just say you need to get start focusing on start building, getting money because that's how you really gonna
But that
really
but
push it.
but that's my problem right there, where I'm meeting you where we're bumping heads at. We keep saying they're getting money, they're selling drugs. They're doing stuff to get money because the people who look like us, who are not FBA, who are not that, are getting the heads up. They're getting the Section 8 without any discretion. They're getting the food stamps, the immigrants, the legals, they're getting it without no discretion. They're getting pats on the backs. They're getting the help. They don't come over here broken. They're running from their home and they have a hope. They're coming over here and they're raising their children on top of us. So how is our children going to get, like I said, I started a cleaning business because by the time I figured out something, I'm 50 years old. I don't have the means to get these big business loans. I can't open up a big business. Most of our black people, once you, and then I'm trying to get out of it, but once you get into it, that's your everyday money. So
Yeah.
how do you switch over from selling shea butter and stuff? Those that sell shea butter, that's all they can afford because they're not getting the help. My husband family was black farmers. They're waiting on money right now. A whole generation of family because the FDA and the USDA effed them out of their loans. What that could have been passed on to my husband. So that goes from my husband's grandparents to his mom to him to his children, who they're waiting for 4 generations ago to get money that they should have already made. So how are we blaming FBAs to do something when ain't nobody? When we go to school, me and my friends was just talking, and I asked them. I had a honor roll when I was in school. Ain't nobody told me nothing about a business. I didn't. They
Mhm.
not in school teaching our kids how to do the stock market right now. Yes, technology is up, but name something in school that they're showing our children so that they can get in on this technology thing besides TikTok videos and online. We kind of make we make roses out of trash bags, and then we blame for what you should do better. Well, what are we giving them to do better with when the people who look like us, who are not originally from here, are not getting anything? So how do we make them switch up with a better business when the government hours that we live under is not giving us the loans and it's not giving us a fair chance?
Yeah, like I said, I agree with you on that. Like I said, and as far as technology, like I put my daughter in STEM school. Some of us they're gonna have to put out kids. It don't cost nothing to put them in there. Just gotta find the schools. They got workshops. I know they doing in Atlanta. They kid in the summer they get these kids, a lot of black kids, caught up on technology. Because I did another podcast about like even with contracting jobs and stuff and welding and all that, we're behind in that. We just gonna have to apply ourselves for that because the thing is, I mean, I have seen more black contractors on these jobs since this whole ICE thing. That's a good thing. I ain't seen that many brothers on construction sites in a long time. So that's a good thing to see. So I most definitely appreciate ICE for that because a lot of those illegal immigrants had to get the hell up out of here.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a good thing. But yeah, programs, workshops. We need to get our people into politics or local politics, start locally. Like we working on some people now here in Atlanta. You got to get people. How we got these contracts we had before. You got to get our people in us, and not just on the council, but like I said, these commissioners, these judges, so we can get them to pass certain laws, so we can get these, loans and stuff. Because, and we got to hold the black banks accountable too, because they need to be stepping up a little bit more. Like, okay, we can get y'all these loans,
Yep.
but still, a lot of them go through the white people. So it's like,
I tried to go to black banks and they wanted one black bank, and I went to three black banks. I think it was in Birmingham, and they wanted me. I needed A1 credit first to have a credit the bank in there. I needed A1 credit. I had
mm,
money. They wouldn't let me put my money in the bank. Then I needed this. Then another black bank that we had, I think online, they was charging us $10 a month for a savings, $10 a month for a checking. And so
damn,
by the time I put, and I forgot, me and Kathy had the same bank, if I'm not mistaken, no matter what you put in. So yes, you are correct. Black banks have to do better because you're charging us more and we don't have the means. It's like we don't have the means, we don't have the money. So if we're trying to support you, you can't charge me out the behind and expect me to keep my money, the money, the couple of hundred I had in the black bank, it depleted with their fees without me using it. I was just putting money in there to just save. You remember
Yeah,
that
that
bank,
was
Kathy?
that
crazy.
was One United.
Yes.
It's out of California, I believe, is the main branch. But yeah, that bank. But also, what I've been noticing around is in California and Nevada, there's been a lot of Hispanics opening up businesses, especially food trucks and restaurants. But
Exactly.
when you fill out loans and anything else, it asks you on there, do you have Hispanic origin? So
Thank you.
why is
Why?
that? So they're getting something that we're not getting. Why is that?
Exactly. Yeah, like it'll say, "Are you Hispanic?" or something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and that's what I'm saying. Like it's like they want to make it look like most FBA real. Because if you look on there, black people are standing up. We are making a wave, like you said, D Mays. We went out and vote. Voting was free, and I understand what you're saying about the STEM. Everything that you're saying, we need to put it out there, put it on your website or put it on our website. Send us the links, and that's good. STEM classes, if you say it's free, but that's what I was saying about making a micronation is to bring all our resources together, because what you get in Atlanta, that's one little small place. We got all the rest of the United States. There's nothing like that I seen in Alabama. There's nothing like that I seen in Florida too much, unless you know something. And most of our parents of these children barely have a high school education. If they didn't make it through high school, how are they going to teach their children? And that was the plan. We're not blaming the government. This is the whole point of reparations. See, they think that we want reparations for money. No, I want reparations for education, mental health, and money, because it takes that. Because once you educate me on the stock market, now where's my money coming from to play it when I have to pay bills each month? See, they have us in a whirlwind of problems where we can't even get a breather. But when these other people come in, they come in over here to America and get a breather from their distressed country, and then they look at us and like, well, why you didn't get it? Because you weren't here to have your generation destroyed. You came in over here getting help. We are born over here being oppressed, and that's the difference. And I'm not making excuses, but we have to, we need layers of reparations. And in our leaders, we have to admit a lot of our black leaders were not out here leading us to help us. They were out here leading us so that they can get more of whatever they was getting to be the leaders, and they're making money. They're living in mansions like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all them. I'm not knocking them, so forgive me. I'm not knocking them, but I'm saying what has changed with all our black leaders. We voted for black people in office and nothing changed. So my thing is, when are we going to get programs that is going to be national stem cell programs, national mental health programs that is specifically for us? In the midst of us struggling, they done turned around and said black people could be racist. We got a white Puerto Rican right now suing Florida because she couldn't get the benefits that a black person, black women get, that are higher risk of high with birth deaths and stuff. And because it was a program specifically for us, she turned around and she's suing because she couldn't have it. Not mind you that they got everything else, but she wanted what we have. And the problem is we don't have national programs that are specific to us. That's what, just like Kamala said, no, I'm not doing anything for specifically for black people. But yet Jews, Hispanics, the Japanese, the Chinese, everybody has something specific to them, to them. The problem is, instead of blaming us, we all as intelligent black people, like mind games, your group, everybody needs to come together and commission and demand the government to start helping our people so we can have the mind to open up other businesses. Because once you start giving us a better mindset, then we'll have better choices when it comes down to money and music. But right now, they have our people prostituting themselves just to get by each day. And I land my plane.
Oh yeah, I agree. We gotta get up out of here. But yeah, yeah, you make good points. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, y'all. We gotta do it real quick because we've been, on this train for a long time. I know it's different with FBA now because, trying to reinvent everything, but we gotta step it up pretty fast because everybody else passing us. Yeah, everybody passing us. I'm looking at the stats and it's not good. I mean, you got the
Everybody's
Indians.
passing us because they're getting something to get on. We walking barefooted on rocks and glass and nails, and they
Yeah.
got on shoes and they got cars. That's why everybody
Oh
passing
yeah,
us.
I agree, but we got a little pass and keep it moving because nobody's not gonna give us nothing unless we demand it and have a solid plan and be on code, real code. Like, because if you got Solar, you got FBA, you got all the other groups, everybody have a same code of conduct like that. Clark has been saying. I see some people got their own different thing. I see people arguing about, well, no, we just need to be the indigenous. I'm like, look, man, stick to one because it's just too much. Don't do. I'm telling you that
Even
an
if they
outside
don't
world
stick
look
to
different.
one,
No,
yeah, even
I
if
see
they
people
don't.
in comments say that, yeah, and not in these comments, but in the other groups and stuff.
Mhm.
They like no disrespect to LBA, but I'm a indigenous. That's okay. See, that's when the problem come in. Somebody was in here, love lady, what's up, lovely lady, peace. What's up?
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, most definitely
Yeah,
need
like
people.
the thing is, we need people. This is the whole point of the micronation. We have to really commission a different type of reparation. That's what me and Pablo talk, because
Facts.
everybody wants to argue with reparation. Yes, like you said, it's wrong with us saying, "Well, I'm not so long, I'm not this." Long as you're not, long as your blood links you here to America, if you cannot get on a plane, a boat, a jet and go to your family in another country, then you most likely are FBA, Solon, or American Indian, because you're right here. If you cannot go to your ancestors or your family to another country, that means that your grandparents were likely buried in the slave graves that's unmarked here in America. So it's us that need to commission the government to give us reparations, and reparations is more. What we have to do is start going after reparations is more than just money.
Oh yeah.
We need land, we need education, we need our own. Period. And I land my plane.
All right,
But
y'all. Yeah.
no. I was just saying, back to this. We have to stop. The whole point of this is stop being tricked by these groups who represent us. When we sit, and that's the problem. We sit back and let everybody represent us. Now, what I do like is that we all are on one accord. Now we got to get on one accord together, because we got to stop all these different groups and everybody that's saying that they're black and they're not Black American. They're not FBA. They're not Solon. They're not American blood made. And so you cannot represent us, because every time something comes up with somebody that so-called represents the FBA, represents the Solon, represents the Black American Indian, represents the original Black people who built America, it's always some BS behind it. And I land my plane. We represent ourselves.
That is a wrap, y'all. That
Okay.
is a wrap. End of that, right? So on to the next. I'm about to go live with a review of the Michael Jackson, y'all, in a minute. I'm gonna be short because I gotta lay it down, but I just want to go and get that out the way. I'm about to do that in a minute. So y'all tune in on that. So yeah, you
Okay.
picking as usual. So we got.
Okay.
I know we're gonna do another one soon, y'all, because we got some other stuff to talk about. I know. Because I'm trying to catch up with
Yeah,
everything
well,
too.
you get on, yeah, because we want to do the Michael Jackson. I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna come look at you what you talking about.
Okay, all right, y'all. Peace.
Okay.